They do have good instant chemistry, but like we need a little bit more. Sometimes it's like the most petty miscommunication and it drives me insane. Like just talk to each other. It's a world that's kind of inspired by a lot of different mythologies as well. We've got a little bit of Egyptian mythology thrown in that, you know, morally grey, misunderstood. But now I'm just like, are they? Are they, or are they literally just evil? Like real valid problems that you do kind of just need to break down about now and then. Hi everyone, welcome back. Welcome to our channel. Welcome if you guys are new. Welcome back to Bookmas. I hope you guys are enjoying Bookmas. I know it's early days, but I am personally absolutely loving it. Today's video is going to be one of our favorite vlogs to film, let's be honest. It's finishing every series we are currently reading. I do have 3 books planned out that are like pretty easy, but also one of them I feel like I'm going to be emotionally destroyed. So for that reason, I have picked 2 of these series to be very simple. This is probably one of my favorite vlogs to film. Really helps me get through the series I am in the middle of. I feel like you guys know by now that I have this problem where I just start too many series. I am in the middle of like 25 plus series. So this like vlog series helps me tick off that list. The first series we're going to be starting with today. How many times can I say series? The first series we're going to be starting today is so random for me. It truly is. And that is The Defender by Anna Huang. This is book 2 in, I don't even know what this series is called. What is it called? Gods of the Game series by Anna Huang. These are interconnected standalones, but like they make up a series. I read The Striker, which is just down there, beginning of this year. I actually really enjoyed it. I don't usually love Anna Huang's books. Like I've read a few by her. I've read the Twisted series, well, a few of the Twisted series. Decided that series wasn't for me, but then I decided to try The Striker because it's like a football romance or soccer romance. I haven't read a soccer romance. I've read so many hockey romances, but never like a soccer romance. So I was like, let's give that a go. I actually really liked it. I also just really liked the chemistry between our characters. Yes, it was very long, probably could have been a little bit shorter, but I actually really liked the love story, and I know that is an unpopular opinion. So anyway, we're going to be continuing that series today with The Defender. This is going to be the first book we are reading. I literally just finished Words of Radiance. So I need a break. I need a little brain break, and then we're going to dive back into fantasy with Empire of Gold, and then we'll see what the third and final book for this vlog is. But yeah, we've got our first 2 books sorted. This is going to be our first one. I know that we're following characters that we did meet in The Striker. That's all I know. And I know that it is obviously a soccer romance. So we're going to dive into this, and I'll update you when I know a little bit more. We're about 80 pages into The Defender, so I feel like I can give you a little bit of a synopsis now. I know what it's about now. So we are following Brooklyn, who is a friend of Scarlet from the first book in this series, and she is currently doing an internship at Black Castle, which is the football team that we're kind of focusing on for this series. We are also following Vincent, who is Scarlet's brother. He was a big part of The Striker. Vincent is a football player. He's one of the best, I think he's the captain of the team. Obviously very, very good, very high up. He's a very sweet guy, I'm not gonna lie, but he has found out that he has a stalker, and his home address has been leaked to the public. So he begins to stay at a hotel, but then that gets leaked, and he's basically just not got a safe space to stay that nobody would know where he was. He kind of does little couch hopping around his teammates' houses, but he just like can't live with them because they're not exactly easy people to live with, until he finds out that Brooklyn needs a roommate. They are both very against this, but then it turns out working out. So I guess it's forced proximity type situation at the moment. Clearly they both have an attraction to each other that they aren't going to admit, but it's very much like witty banter back and forth, and they have like this kind of just chemistry that just bounces off each other. However, it is feeling a little bit insta-lovey at the moment. Nothing crazy, just in the sense that like in this situation that Brooklyn was just in, it was kind of an uncomfortable situation, and she was like, I was wishing Vincent was here. And I'm like, girl, you've been living with him for like 2 weeks at this point. That's a little bit odd to be wishing he was there so quickly. Like I get it, but also you're meant to hate this guy. So I don't know. Well, not hate him, just like be annoyed by him. Those little things are kind of annoying me a tiny bit. Like I feel like there could have been more chemistry built up before that. More like history maybe, because they do have good instant chemistry, but like we need a little bit more, you know? We need some more like shared experiences, shared situations, more talking. communicating. This is a lot shorter. It's still 440 pages, but it's shorter than The Striker, which is good because I think The Striker was a little bit too long in my opinion. I forgot to say that Brooklyn is also the daughter of the coach of Black Castle, so the football team that Vincent plays for. So I guess there's that like little conflict of interest as well going on there. That's the little synopsis. I think it's good. We could do with a little bit more, like learning more about our characters, especially Vincent. We'll see how we go though. We'll keep reading. I am about 50% through The Defender now. Yeah, I feel like we've got the 50% mark. I'm actually enjoying it. Yes, it's just a fun sports romance. It's not going to be anything incredible. I'm actually enjoying it. I feel like our main protagonist, she actually is very relatable because she's kind of trying to navigate her adult life and like the transition period of like going from an internship or going from like studies to actually like finding a job and finding where she fits in. And her family has this big legacy and she kind of doesn't want to just go into that, not make a name for herself. She doesn't want to get these positions because of her family name, if that makes sense. She wants to get these positions because she's good at her job. And so honestly, a little bit relatable because she's in her early 20s, everything like that. It's honestly quite relatable and just feeling so lost in your life. And I think that's a very valid feeling to be having breakdowns about. It's not something super unrealistic. It's not something really small and petty, like real valid problems that you do kind of just need to break down about now and then. So we're at page 210. It is so easy to read and I'm very thankful for that. I'm flying through it. I think we'll finish it today, which would be good because it's the morning at the moment, about to film podcast. But then after my editing and stuff for today, I can pretty much read all day. So I'm excited about that. I'm really nervous for the third act breakup. Like we all know that there's going to be a third act breakup in books. Sometimes they're valid. Sometimes it makes sense. It's like, yeah, life actually got in your way. Sometimes it's like the most petty miscommunication and it drives me insane. Like just talk to each other. So I'm hoping that if there is a third act breakup, which I'm assuming there will be, it's going to be valid. It's going to make sense. I do like Vincent as well. I feel like I want to know more about Vincent. I really don't know a lot about him. I don't know if that's the point. Like, I don't know if we're meant to kind of be in Brooklyn's shoes, but it is multiple POV. So I feel like we're meant to know more about him. He's just like, he's a really nice guy, but I feel like he doesn't have a lot of depth at the moment. We're getting to know so much about Brooklyn that I feel like we need that reciprocated with Vincent, but maybe that'll come later in the book. We're only halfway through, so that could easily come later. I feel very funny in the fact that this could quite literally be some people's like least favorite book by Anna Huang, and yet I'm really enjoying it. I think the striker I gave like a 4 stars, like a pretty good rating for a romance book. So I'll be curious to see what I end up giving this one. In saying that, a lot of the striker's plot has kind of disappeared. I remember the main points, but a lot of the details I don't remember. So I feel like that's pretty normal for romance books, honestly. I love them in the moment, do forget about them pretty quickly unless it's like an Abby Jimenez or Taylor Jenkins Reid book. Also, Brooklyn's dad is annoying me. He's annoying me so much, but it's fine. Like we're gonna look past it. I don't know, they feel very real characters at the moment, so I'm really liking that aspect. And I guess we'll just see where it goes from here. Okay, so we didn't end up finishing it yesterday, but that's fine. We're at page 338 now. Very close to finishing it. I'm about to sit down and hopefully we can. I'm not hating it so far. It's nothing like crazy and I'm not super connected to our characters by any means, but I'm not hating it at all. I think it's shaping up to be like a 3.75 or 4 stars. I do wish we had a little bit more emotional depth to our characters. And oh my gosh, the mum is annoying me so much, but I'm pretty sure that's the point. So I guess that's good. I still don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know if there's gonna be like a conflict that has to be resolved in the last like what 100 pages ish. So who knows? I could be in for a surprise. I'm just hoping that, as I said before, it's not gonna like really bug me. I feel like with romance books these days, I really don't have too many thoughts. I just kind of read them because they're a fun little brain break. Like as long as the main characters don't really bug me. And honestly, I will say I feel like these guys have really good chemistry. Actually, it could be a little bit more, but it's like pretty good chemistry. If there is going to be a next book in this series, I think I've already picked up on the couple that it's going to be about. Also, Scarlett, who was in The Striker, she was the main protagonist in The Striker. We've seen her a little bit in this and I really like her. Like I think she's so wholesome as a character and she just supports everyone around her so well. And I don't know, I really like her. I think she's a really cool addition. So I'll finish it and get back to you. Okay, it is the next day. I did end up finishing The Defender last night or yesterday afternoon, I guess. It was a fun, easy romance read. It was fine. It wasn't anything incredible. I feel like what I wanted, it's kind of weird because I feel like I almost wanted more of this book and I wanted less of The Striker. So somewhere in between would be amazing. I just kind of wanted more to our characters though for this book. I wanted a little bit more depth to our characters, a little bit more of an emotional tie. I will say, like, you can't even really call it the third act breakup, guys. Like the actual, I guess conflict was valid. I thought it was valid and that does not happen very often, especially in romance books. I was reading for this couple the entire time, to be honest. Like I really liked their chemistry. I liked the way they treated each other. I just felt like it was kind of missing something. I can't even put my finger on it, but maybe our main male protagonist, while there were elements of him that I loved, there were also elements that felt very shallow and I just kind of wanted a little bit bit more than that. I did really like Brooklyn, our main protagonist. I think I liked the Striker more though, mainly because I really like Scarlet as a main protagonist. I think she's really cool. But definitely liking this series a lot more so far than the Twisted series, so that's a plus. And the next book in this series I am excited to see, because between two characters that I feel like is like a grumpy sunshine vibe, not even like I'm not attracted to you, God, I'm not attracted to you, but like they secretly are, but there's no way they admit that. So I'm kind of excited about that vibe. My big thing about these kind of books is, do we really need epilogues, multiple epilogues in romance books? I don't know. I'm kind of sick of the same kind of epilogue in every single romance book, if you know what I mean. I guess it kind of gives a little bit more backstory, but yeah, like especially if it's going to be interconnected, I kind of think their epilogue can almost be in the next book. You can see where they've turned out in the next book in the series. Is that unpopular? I don't know, maybe it is. That was our first series done, so ticks one off the list until the next book in the series comes out. The next one we have started, and I have started it, I am only about 10% in because it's a long book, and that is Empire of Gold. This is the third and final book in the David Bend, I think it's called, trilogy. It starts with City of Brass. You guys know how much I've loved this series so far. I really like City of Brass. I loved Kingdom of Copper. One of the best second books I have ever read. Like, it did not have second book syndrome at all, and that is such a rare thing for me. That's such a rare thing in trilogies, to be honest. I'm so nervous but so excited to dive into Empire of Gold. I did borrow the first two books from my friend, so I just thought I'd get this one on Kindle. One day I might buy the entire series. I just thought for now I don't want to buy it and just have the third book in the series sitting on my shelf without the other two. What really surprises me about this series in particular is it is honestly quite a complicated magic system. Basically, we have these different kinds of people. Well, we have humans and then we have different kinds of magic folk, I guess. They all have different elemental powers. We are following three different characters in all the books. Nari, who is basically an old thief from Cairo, but she has this desire to be a healer, to help people. Yeah, she's grown up on the streets of Cairo, kind of just trying to make her way through life. Then we have Ali. He's the prince of a very, very high up magical family, royal family. And then we also have Dara. I'm not going to say too much about Dara. You guys need to figure out about Dara by yourself. Three very different perspectives, and I will say I have grown to love my different characters throughout this series. At the very beginning, I only liked Nari's perspective. I love every single one's perspective, but somehow I feel like Ali is my favorite now, which I just didn't see coming because I didn't love him in the first book, and I've just grown to love him throughout the second book. And now just seeing him again, I was like, yep, that's cementing my feelings on him as a character. I think he's so cool and he's so sweet. It's such a different change of pace. I love Nari as a character as well. When I read fantasies and there's female protagonists, usually, not saying always, because there are books that do not fall into this category, and I love that, they do fall into two categories. Either the badass, combat ready kind of FMC who doesn't give a shit about anyone else, or the healer who just isn't really supposed to be where she is, but she's got to grow to accept that position. Nari is somewhere in the middle where she is a healer. She wants to heal people. She's not like a combat ready kind of person, and she's kind of a badass in the sense that like she doesn't want anyone to see her cry, anything like that. I guess just growing up on the streets as a thief mentality, that would probably do it to you. It's a world that's kind of inspired by a lot of different mythologies as well. We've got a little bit of Egyptian mythology thrown in. The Nile, like the river the Nile, is a really present kind of magical essence in this world, which is really interesting. Also with the different ranks of people and like the different types of people, we also have things like ghouls and stuff like that. Like it is really truly such an incredibly unique magic world, and I am just truly, where is the hype around this? Why aren't more people reading this series is my question. So I'm gonna dive into this afternoon and hopefully we can read quite a bit more. I think this is like an 800-page book though, so it's gonna take us a bit, but this is gonna be our bulk. This is our bulk of finishing series. It was literally blue skies and sunny, and now it is absolutely pouring outside and is so windy. It actually sounds like a hurricane or something. I believe we are about 30% into Empire of Gold. I have such conflicting feelings towards our characters. Like some of them I absolutely love without a doubt, but like one perspective in particular, I'm just starting to really hate. And I thought I liked this character. Like, at least I didn't love them, but like, I thought, oh, you know, morally gray, misunderstood. But now I'm just like, are they? Are they, or are they literally just evil? I really don't know. I don't know what to think. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of glad we have this on Kindle because I went book shopping the other day and I saw the third book and it is thick. It's so big. So I'm kind of glad we have it on Kindle. It's nice and like, it makes it a little bit less intimidating, and probably why I was like fine to just pick it up. It's really interesting in this trilogy because the first book was kind of like the setup to everything. It was like where Nari starts out, where all of our characters start out, to be honest, how our characters' paths cross and how they end up, I'm not even going to say what it is, but how they end up in this situation and like kind of the main plot of this book, like how that is starting to come to be. And like the end of the first book was insane. And then in the second book, at the start of it, we had a 5-year jump. I was not expecting that. And then this one is picking up straight off from the second book. So it is kind of nice to be able to go on to it straight away. Like when I read that in the second book, I was like, 5 years? That's crazy. But I do understand why she did it. And honestly, it makes it really interesting. Like it's a very different experience reading the trilogy like that. And also, I feel like it makes more sense because when you're talking about political wars and political disagreements in general, things don't just get fixed in like a few months. It honestly is very realistic that like this big of a time gap would have would take place. Her writing is so easy to read in the best way possible. I absolutely love it. I'm honestly just flying through this. So I'm loving being back with our characters. My heart kind of breaks for some of our characters. And I'm really, really excited to see where Ali specifically is going to go in this book. I feel like he has had probably the most character development throughout the whole series. I also am just obsessed with his like vibe in general. Like he's low-key a little bit shy and kind of doesn't know what he's doing some of the time, but also does his best effort. I love it. Over 50% through The Empire of Gold. This is a hefty book, I will say. I feel like we're definitely hitting a softer point in the story at the moment. Our characters have arrived kind of at one of their points, at least, of their destination. But our characters did just learn some very important information that I knew and the reader knew because you could see all the different perspectives, but some of them, they didn't know that. They didn't know that information and they just learned it. So I'm very happy because I feel like I can stop being like, when they say something, I'll be like, no, but this is the thing that you need to know. I feel like there are things that are starting to click, pieces of the puzzle that are starting to go together to help build up to this really intense, like, oh my god, I already know the ending is going to be insane. Some of the fight scenes and like the conflict scenes in this, by the way, are so good. I absolutely love them. The writing is really cool because it's very digestible and easy to read, yet very, very beautiful. And again, that's something that I always really, really appreciate. Also though, we're in the third book and we're still getting new elements of this world. We are still getting new little bits and pieces. Like a while ago we were introduced to pirates and stuff. Like that is such a cool element. All the kind of darker forces in this world are really interesting as well. It makes for a very, very interesting enemy side because you're like, okay, they have some like serious power on their side if they've got this kind of magic and everything like that. I do feel like the ending is going to pick up a little bit because at the moment it's good. I'm having a great time, but I'm kind of just simmering. Like we're just simmering in all these possibilities and I don't know where it's going to go from here, how it's going to pan out. Also, there's this one character that in the last book I absolutely hated in the beginning, and by the end I was absolutely, well, not obsessed with him, but I found him very, very, very funny. I'm not going to tell you what character because I don't want to spoil anything, but I really want to see him again. I really, really want to see him again. Well, we're kind of getting glimpses of him, but I want his dialogue again. Like I love how funny and witty he is, and he just brings like he's a comedic relief in a way. I feel like we need that right now because it is so serious at the moment and everything is just in these really high stakes, but like it's just not quite moving from those stakes. Like I need something to happen. I think it is such a great balance of political fantasy, unique magic system, unique but like understandable magic systems, multiple POVs, incredible sense of found family as well, and just like betrayals and everything. Like you really don't know where the story's gonna go. I will say in this one there hasn't been as many plot twists, so I do have quite high expectations for it, but like it's meeting them so far. It's the next morning. Guys, we got so much further through last night than I thought I was going to, purely because I couldn't put it down. This is such a good book. We are at, I think we're over 80% through. I read a little bit this morning as well, but it's only like 8, 9 this morning, so we have time. I am 84% through, which is still a good like 100 at least pages to go. This, as I said, it's a lengthy book, like it's big, but we are definitely working our way through it. And Nari as a character, she is a warrior. Like not a protagonist who's like got combat skills. She is a warrior. Like something, I just read this bit and jaw is on the floor. Also her wit just adds to it. It's wit, but it's not like sassy wit. It's genuinely, she's just a smart girl. I don't know what's gonna happen. I really don't know how this is gonna be resolved. I'm a little bit nervous on how it's gonna be resolved. Also, can I just say there is something about a sea of monsters, like a sea of threats that gets me every single time. Sailing in the waters, and then there are all these mythical creatures underneath the sea. They could be nice ones, they could be dangerous ones, who knows, that could potentially harm you. And like you have to fight your way out of that situation. That is like one of my favorite niche little things to happen in a fantasy book ever. Also, the mythical creatures just keep coming, and honestly, I'm loving it. Some people might find it like an overload of mythical creatures. I am loving every single second. I'm very curious if these are like based off different mythological creatures that actually play into myths of like ancient Egypt or ancient India or something like that. Like I'm very curious to see if they're actually based off that or if they're completely like a figment of this author's imagination and she's just come up with some of the most incredible beasts I've heard about. Because I had this phase when I was younger where I was like obsessed with ancient civilizations. I just kind of did like deep dives into ancient Egypt, ancient India, of course ancient Greece and ancient Rome. Like I feel like we all did that. But yeah, I did like into some of the ones that like you may not have heard of. I love when mythologies inspire magic systems and political systems and plots, honestly. I don't know if I'll finish it this morning or this afternoon because I do have a lot of editing to do today, but oh my god, it's so good. Guys, why isn't this more talked about? I literally just made a TikTok ranting about it because I need more of you guys to read this. We have like 10% left of Empire of Gold. Guys, I'm so scared. I am so scared. I don't know what's gonna happen right now. No way, what? No. I don't understand. Oh, thank God. I was so scared. I was so scared. I don't think I have ever been so tense in a fight scene. That was so, that was crazy. That is so wholesome. Stop. Guys, we finished it. We finished Empire of Gold. That was honestly a bit of an emotional roller coaster. Like, especially towards the end. I had no idea where our story was going. The stakes were so incredibly high. Like, there is no way I could have predicted that. But honestly, I cannot describe this in a better way than saying that that was the most wholesome ending. Also the most logical ending. Not always do trilogies end in a logical way. Sometimes you have so many questions. Sometimes it feels like everything was wrapped up way too quickly. Sometimes you're like, okay, yeah, saw that coming. This was done in a way that was not too obvious. Not everything was the typical, like, I don't want to say it was like not a happy ending, but like it wasn't the romance epilogue. That's the best way I'm going to describe it. It wasn't the same ending of every single book, but it also was so incredibly satisfying and wholesome that it makes sense that those characters ended up in the places that they did. I know I'm probably not making sense right now. I definitely want to read more by this author. I love her style of writing. It is so easy to read, but so lyrical and addictive. Like, I absolutely loved it. There was a lot of world building in this book, which is kind of crazy because we're in the third book. And like, look, you're okay because you do have the foundations of the world from the past two books, like layers upon layers of fantasy. It was kind of crazy. Not really politics, but more just like fantasy elements, like different magical things, different spirits, different magical creatures, as I said earlier. I think this is the 4.75. I think it was just off a 5-star for me. Let me explain, because I do think this was like an absolutely incredible book and I will be recommending this trilogy forever. This trilogy was so good and I can't believe how underhyped it is. My reasoning for not a 5 stars is just because, number one, I didn't get that 5-star feeling. I feel like what gave me that 5-star feeling in the last book was the way that the plot threw things at me that I just didn't see coming, and I was shocked to my core during that book, but in the best way possible. I kind of preferred the character dynamics in the second book. I will say I'm a sucker for like a kind of cozier setting, if that makes sense. I don't know how to explain it, but like I love academy settings. I love any kind of found family setting where we see our characters all in like some sort of close area and you see them interacting with each other. Like that's what I love more than anything, especially when it's multiple POVs. And I will say, because we have so many perspectives and so much was going on in this last book, it was kind of lacking that character dynamic. The last one was also a little bit more humorous than this one. Like these are very, very minor things. It's just literally the reason I didn't give it a 5 stars, but like still incredibly high rating. But yeah, I think I'm just such a character person, and some of our characters I really wanted to see more of in this one. And we did see heaps of them in the last one. So like I get that. I can't get everything I want, obviously. I wanted to see some of our other characters a little bit more, but we did see them towards the end, which I was really happy about. The ending definitely made it super satisfying for me. I love Nari as a main protagonist. I I think she's going down as one of my favorite main protagonists because not once did I get irritated at her. I understood the choices she was making. Also, speaking of choices characters made, there is one chapter, I'm not even going to say whose perspective it's from, but if you know, you know. I could not make my mind up on him, and then I was here and I was there, and oh my god, couldn't trust that character. I didn't know how to trust them until the end. I highly recommend reading the physical book for this series, at least for the first one, over an audiobook or a Kindle book. Like, they're all going to be fine, but the reason I'm saying that, we have so many different magical creatures, so many different magical people from different tribes, from different communities. You kind of need to be flicking back and forth to the glossary at the back. I was okay for this one because I've been doing that for the last two, but it was so helpful in those last books, and I stand by glossaries. I absolutely love them, and honestly, flicking back to them can make the world of a difference from you like kind of like getting an idea of what's going on to fully comprehending all the politics and every single little detail. I stand by the fact, like as I said earlier in the video, that epilogues aren't always needed. That's not just for romance books. I think that's for fantasy books as well. However, this was the perfect epilogue. It was the perfect length. It was the perfect characters we were focusing on. It gave you the answers you needed, like the kind of little inklings you had about the characters that either confirmed or denied that. For our next series, I think we're going to go over to my bookshelf and see what we can find. Okay, after scanning the bookshelves, I think we have two options for our next series. I don't know if I'll decide right now, but I'll like let you know my options, and then I'll probably start reading one of them tonight. Our first option is The Christmas Tree Farm. This is the third book in the Dream Harbor series. It is a really cute small town cozy kind of romance series, and this one is a Christmas theme one. I have not read any Christmas books yet. I don't have very many Christmas books on my TBR, to be honest. I think this is the only one, so we definitely could read this if we're feeling something a little bit easy and cozy and just want to binge something. The other option is the Madoran Chronicles. Obviously, I've finished the Madoran Chronicles. They're like one of my favorite series, but these are little novellas that go in the Madoran Chronicles, so we do have that as well, but I wasn't sure if you guys wanted to see me read them or not. Now, I will say I genuinely thought I had finished Our Three Heroes, but I realized because I downloaded it on Kindle, I had only read some of the stories. So this is a collection of 3 different stories from 3 of our characters, like sidekick characters in the Madoran Chronicles. So that's really fun. Look, I love our characters from the Madoran Chronicles so much. If you don't know what they are, the Madoran Chronicles starts with Akane. It's by Lynette Noni, and we are following Alex, our main protagonist, who basically finds out that she has magic blood in her and starts attending this magic school. We go on like these all kinds of adventures, very YA fantasy, but just so much fun. Really great found family dynamics. And this is a collection of short stories. And then we do have as well Calidorus, which is very little. I think it's about 200 pages. And this is, I think, just a continuation of the Madoran Chronicles. So I'm a little bit more like leaning towards this one. I should probably read both of these, like actually finish this one. Downloaded this like when I was on a holiday once and read like the first story and then forgot because it's only the first 100 pages. So I'll be rereading it because I can't remember too much and it's only 100 pages. That's fine. So we could definitely do these two or this one. I'm not really sure. I think I'm leaning towards these ones, but I'll see. I'll update you. It's the next night and I am 108 pages into We Three Heroes by Lynette Noni. We ended up going with this series. I think it'll just be fun. I'm kind of hoping to finish this tonight. I'm having like a little readathon night. It's 8 o'clock at the moment and Austin finishes work at 10 o'clock. I was like, I'm just gonna read as much as I can before then. So realistically, will we finish this in 2 hours? I don't know. We've got like 200 pages left. So if I read 100 an hour, then yeah. Honestly though, this world is my everything. Like it just is so whimsical and beautiful. It just feels like a big hug because it's a YA series as well. I was a little bit nervous that I wasn't going to remember it because I finished this series at the very end of last year. So like late December last year, so almost a year ago. And I was kind of scared that I wouldn't remember the kind of key details for these pre-stories. We are just about to finish the first short story. And it's kind of nice to get little like backstories to the sidekicks of the kind of world. But honestly, I've remembered everything that I need to so far. Like as soon as I got little hints about it or like, you know, they talked about it, I was like, oh my God, I remember that. So it's kind of fun. And it's just, I feel like this ties a lot of the loose ends, not really loose ends, but a lot of the characters' stories to each other, which is really nice. The first story is DC's story. And honestly, I love DC as a character. I think she is a really kind of complicated character. I'm not gonna lie, but I love that. Like, I think it is a really great addition to this story, especially her dynamics with Alex is really fun. We have Jordan's story and then Bear's story. So I'm excited to see them. I am still getting into novellas. Like honestly, a lot of series I've read don't have have novellas and everything like that. So it's still kind of new concept for me. Obviously these are like short stories, but I guess we call them novellas. Definitely do not read this until you have read at least up to book 4. But if you have loved the Midorian Chronicles, I highly recommend jumping into it. It's just so magical, whimsical, fun to be back with our characters, back in the world of Midora. But honestly, it makes me feel like I'm a kid reading again. That's the vibes I get while I'm reading this. So we're having a fun time. We're gonna keep reading tonight. Hopefully we can try and finish this. It's the next day and I did finish We Three Heroes last night. Honestly, this was so much sadder than I was expecting. Why was I living like some of the most sad moments of the entire series just through a different perspective? It kind of made me tear up a little bit and I wasn't expecting that. This is like a cute YA series, guys. I wasn't expecting to cry, although I did cry a lot in the other books in the series, but I just wasn't expecting it from a novella. I think my favorite novella was actually Bears. It was definitely the saddest. I think he's a really interesting character. There's a lot going on in his brain and I feel like the way he thinks about things and what he does for the reasons he does it, I think is quite interesting, to be honest. I liked the other 2 short stories as well, but yeah, I think Bears stood out to me the most, although it was so sad. And even Jordan, like, it kind of showed what he was going through behind the scenes of stuff. He was quite a big part of the last book, so I feel like that was really just, I don't know, reinforced during this. So I was going to read the next novella in this series, but because we've already read 3 books in this series for this vlog, I thought we might leave it at this and then I'll continue with the next novella in my next reading vlog, which you guys will be seeing very soon anyway. Do recommend reading it. Honestly, even if you are reading the series in order, I would read this in between 4 and 5. I think it's a really, really good placeholder and like it does give you a backstory to things you do need to know. Also, DC is a character. For YA characters, these are all very complicated characters. They're all working through their own stuff. Even if I read the series when I was younger, I probably would have really appreciated that. The magic in this is just so much fun as well. I love that we have so many different mythical creatures. We have like dragons, but they're called like drakens. I'm hoping now that the series has a reprint, it's becoming more accessible for everyone, because I always get comments being like, I really want to read this series, but it's really hard to find anywhere basically out of Australia. Look, even I had a hard time finding all of the books when I read it for the first time when these copies weren't published. My friend works at a bookstore and I had to get her to like order them in specifically for me. It was a weirdly hard series to find, so hopefully now that these have republished, it'll be a little bit more accessible to everyone like outside Australia as well, because I cannot recommend these series enough. It is just so much fun if you want like a YA kind of nostalgic fantasy series. Excited to read our next little novella, but that's super, super short. I think it's like less than 200 pages. Still be fun to see where our characters ended up after the series, because that takes place at the very end. And I think that's going to bring us to the end of today's reading vlog. Hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys are enjoying Bookmas as well. If you've watched till the end of the video, thank you so much. It truly means the absolute world to me. I love you all so, so much, and I will see you in my next video.